There's a speed limit in this state, Mr. Neff. 45 miles an hour.
How fast was I going, officer?
I'd say around 90.
But what about us?
Memories. You're talking about memories.
Good, then have a drink.
I don't want anything of his or any part of it.
Except his life.
I wonder if I know what you mean.
I wonder if you wonder.
Played it for her, you play it for me. I lived a few weeks while she loved me. Waiting for a lady. Someday you'll understand that.
Got some news that's going to take a lot of tension off you and Laura.
Stop it, Dix. I can't take any more of this.
I should be in it for you.
You know the story?
What story?
Maybe because he was drunk.
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon and for the rest of your life.
Well, I'll give her the message.
But they're asleep all over America.
Welcome to the Speakeasy Noircast, a podcast discussing film noirs of yesterday and neo noirs of today. Each week, we will deliver a discussion and analysis of classic and neo noir films, all mixed in with our unintelligible banter. Your hosts for the show, Carly Street and Jason D. Morris. So, hey, Carly, how you doing?
I'm okay. Guess what I just ate?
What? Guess what?
Yeah, guess what I just ate?
What you just what?
Ate. Like,
ate.
Ate. Oh my god. I didn't know how else to explain that. I was going to say put in my mouth and thought, no.
That was genuine. I couldn't understand what the hell you said.
I just bought a packet of crisps that is pigs in blankets.
That's French fries, right? No.
Oh my
French
god.
Fries are not. No, potato chips.
Potato chips. Okay.
Yeah,
so
okay.
I just got a bag of them that taste like pigs in blankets. You have them, right?
No. I mean, yeah, we have pigs in, we don't actually put our pigs in blankets, but we have hot dogs that you wrap in bacon.
Yes.
Or you put in, or in like a croissant or dough or something.
I mean, weird.
Weird.
Yeah. Yeah. So the sausage in the bacon.
British thing.
The sausage in the bacon.
It'd be weird if you wrapped, a sausage with bacon and then fed it to a pig. That would be weird.
That would be sadistic.
That's cannibalism.
Yeah.
That's piggleism.
Piggleism.
All right. That's weird, but I don't know. It tastes amazing if you're going to eat it yourself, but as long as you're not, committing a crime among piglets,
That's not pigalicious.
So, is Omicron around out there? I hear it's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Yeah. I think it's interesting how everybody that's getting sick are the ones that are unvaccinated. And they're steadfast in continuing to not be vaccinated.
Or wear masks, because we have masks back now in shops.
Right, yeah. Yeah, it never went away here. Like, it's been a thing. I noticed that, the lines to get into places, there was a time period during, lockdown and for a good, 6 to 8 months where they would only let a certain number of people inside the establishment. And then you had to line up outside 6 feet apart kind of thing. Which I don't think that they're actually spacing those 6 feet apart. I feel like if I laid down on the ground, it's a little closer than 6 feet the way these people are measuring. It's more like 5, maybe 4.5. I don't know. I think they need to get a new tape measure or something.
Yes.
Because none of them seem to be really spaced properly.
No.
But anyway, they're making people line up outside again, and we're just waiting for the great, toilet paper shortage part 2, and see where this all kind of leads. But
I've got Boris toilet paper.
I don't know what that is.
It's Boris Johnson's face on toilet paper.
Oh, you're shitting me. Okay, cool.
No, it's
they have that for
it's
Trump
called
too.
Boris butt wipes or something like that. We took it into work as a Secret Santa and somebody got really, really offended. It was as if we'd slapped the Queen in the face. A little bit different.
Well, I guess you British people do have, I don't know what you call that, a very...
A sense of humor.
No, you're not known for your sense of humor. Not that I know of. And I've been watching a lot of Downton Abbey, so I'm going to say
that is the
you
least
have zero
funny.
sense of humor.
That is the least funny thing that's ever been. It's the most horrible thing that's ever been made because it makes people go, "Oh my God, you're from England. Do you know the Queen?" I know of her. She's on the money. I couldn't phone her.
You're like, the servants in Downton Abbey? I'm like, I'm below the servants in Downton Abbey.
I'm not even allowed a penny like them. So
no, it's a great show. I think it's. I don't know. I'm not up for like soap operas, and that's essentially like a soap opera because like it's all like contained in their own little lives, And but I don't know. Shawnee and I are burning through it. We're like on season 4, and I'm noticing there's only like 2 seasons left. But then there's the movie, and I think there's a new movie coming out too.
I think you need to calm down.
I am, whatever.
I think you should watch The Crown.
The Crown, it's so dry to me. Like it's too serious.
So Downton Abbey is obviously laugh a minute.
It's funny because it's like I said, it's like really self-contained to their own lives, and you get to see like the servants like basically creating drama because there's nothing else to do. It's not like there's TVs and cell phones and stuff. So it's like everybody just being mean to each other and backstabby and doing all this crazy stuff. That's just like, why would you do that?
Welcome to England.
You sit there and you sit there and you think about it. It's like, oh, because they're freaking bored. What else are they going to do? Nothing. And it's just funny. It's hilarious. But I don't know. I enjoy it. I think it's fun. But again, I'm not up for like the soap opera thing, and that's a total soap opera, but it's one of the few that I would ever, no, it's probably the only one I would ever watch. So, what are you watching on TV right now? Anything?
I watched that Squid Games.
Oh yeah, we started that, man. That's so violent. I have a hard time trying to get through an episode because it's like senseless violence,
Okay, so this was my issue. Everybody was warning me how violent it was, and I watched it and looked at it and went, I thought there's going to be more maiming. So I kind of just half watched the rest of it.
Yeah, I think it has to do with like the mass murder aspect for me. It's like I don't, and that you're so, I would say detached from most of the people that are getting murdered. Like you don't know who they are, what their story is. It's just like, let's throw a bunch of people in a fishbowl and like shoot them. And it just, I don't know. I don't find that entertaining. But I guess apparently a lot of people like to watch a lot of people get murdered. I don't know. Yeah. I look at it like a sort of like a violent Nickelodeon show. I don't know if you get Nickelodeon over there, but
oh my God, what if iCarly went on a rampage or something like?
No, not that kind of a show. Like their game shows, like I can't even think of the names of it, but like they would have like obstacle courses, and like the family would come on and like run the obstacle course, and they'd get like slimed and like knocked off platforms and crap like that, and but this is like that, but you get shot in the head.
This is like that, but with gunfire instead of slime.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. It's a bit much for me. And I just, I like horror films. And I was talking to Shani about this the other day. She loves the show, Grey's Anatomy. Right. Mm-hmm. And I don't really watch it, but I'll watch it with her if it's on. Right. But I squirm every time that they do like a surgery or something in the show, because it looks so realistic. Right. And she's just like, well, how do you watch this other crap that you watch? Like, I don't know, Texas Chainsaw Massacre or whatever it might be. And I'm like, but it's not real. Like it's obviously over the top and fake, and that I can deal with. But when it looks like real, like that looks like somebody's like arm and they're like cutting it, that kind of thing. It's like, it's too much for me. Like, I just don't, I have no desire of seeing reality that way. You know what I mean? Is
it because if you watch that and you were in hospital, you knew what would have happened because you've seen it on Grey's Anatomy?
No, not really that. It's just, I feel like there's a certain level of empathy that I know that like somebody's being cut into, or like a relationship to pain, I guess, in a way, or I'm not really 100% sure what it is, but it just makes me just like, oh, why would I want to watch that? Why do I want to see somebody actually having their body cut open and like their guts played with? Like, I don't want to see that.
I mean, wrong turn. they do that kind of stuff quite a lot.
Well, yeah, but it's so over the top and ridiculous, right? So it's like it's easy for me to watch when it's like obviously fake, like Wrong Turn series is a great example because it's so freaking over the top. It's like it's not even gross to me. It's just like I know that special effects. Maybe it's just from working in the movies or whatever it is. It doesn't bother me at all, And I think that sort of mentality, like when my kids were young and, started like seeing more of the world kind of thing, I would always tell them, it's just, it's the movies, it's fake. It's, it's just ketchup or whatever, Cause, it's hard. I don't want to explain them like with fake blood. It's just, whatever. And as they got older, it's like they can very easily watch that kind of stuff like Squid Games and things like that. Because I taught them and they've been on sets with me and they've seen the fake blood and they've seen how it works. And that sort of behind the scene aspect, it's like whenever they see it in a movie, they're it doesn't bother them like at all. And I tried to like talk to my daughter about it. She's all about Squid Game. And I'm like, so, like that doesn't bother you to watch all these people die? She's like, no, it's fake, right? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, yeah, you told me like about fake blood and all that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, okay. Well, cool. I guess I can't watch it, but
so you've made them emotionally cold, basically.
Yeah, I guess towards that stuff. Yeah.
I can't deal with eyeballs. I can watch anything, but I cannot. Even if somebody's going to poke somebody in the eye, I can't deal with it.
Yeah, that doesn't really bother me. I think the worst for me is teeth. Maybe we talked about this before, but I think teeth is probably the
don't
one.
Because I've got toothache at the minute, and I really need to go and have a tooth out, and I've been really putting it off for ages.
Yeah,
teeth,
you gotta do that. I just had one. Yeah, I had one pulled. What was it, in beginning of November? Actually, right before we shot the first episode of Haunted Objects.
Oh God, I bet you were a blast. Clap.
It wasn't that bad. It was like, okay, so years ago when I had my wisdom teeth come in, one of them came in and cracked another tooth in the back.
Don't, because that's what's happening to me.
Oh yeah, have it taken care of. You got to have it taken care of, because when it cracked through, that was the most pain I ever had in my life. Like it was terrible, and it happened. Like I knew it was happening. Like the tooth was coming in, and it was eventually gonna break this tooth. But when it actually broke the tooth, I was driving to work, and it was like this. I can't even. It was like somebody electrocuted my brain.
Oh God.
That's how bad it just like sent me into like this instant like shock while I'm driving. I had to like pull over, and it was crazy. So I would say get it taken care of. At least that was my experience. But anyways, I let that after it broke through, I had the wisdom tooth pulled, but then I let the cracked tooth just sit, because after that happened, I feel like it like killed the nerve or something. Because I never had any problems with it. But I would go into the dentist and he'd be like, oh yeah, you have a cavity in there. We're going to have to take care of that eventually. I was like, well, it doesn't hurt. So, and he didn't want to just drill it out and fill the cavity or anything like that. He wanted to do like a root canal and put a cap on it. And that's like $1,200 or something. It doesn't bother me. I don't want to do it. I don't want to spend the money on whatever I should have. Cause now the tooth's gone. But eventually it got, where I started to feel it again. So I guess the nerve wasn't completely dead. So I eventually had to have it pulled, because we got past that sort of point of no return. And that was like right before, well, actually I had it scheduled before COVID hit. I was supposed to go in the November before COVID happened in March. And I think we were shooting Curious Case or something like that. Like we were doing another project and I had to cancel my appointment. And then I couldn't get one till March. And that got canceled because COVID hit. So they shut everything down, right? And then so it had to wait till just this last November. And finally they pulled it. And now I'm toothless.
I'm not far behind you. I'm that terrified. I had to go for a sedation assessment. And they put this thing on my finger, and because I have to pay private, because otherwise I'll be dead before the tooth. They go, oh, do you want to take that tooth out now? It's like dead corpse, sucking that ship sailed. So they put this like thing on my finger, and they basically started just talking about dentists, and increasingly got like more into it. And this woman just looked at me, and she went, never mind, that's fine, you've passed. And I thought, I've been here for about a minute. And she went, I can tell you're a little bit scared. And I went, oh, why? And she went, well, your heart rate's on the verge of a heart attack. I thought, oh, brill. So she took the thing off my finger and she went, we're not going to bother doing, wrapping the pressure around your arm because we can quite clearly tick that box for you. Oh, nice.
So they're going to put you completely under?
Okay, so I won't be asleep, but apparently I will have absolutely no idea what's happened and no memory of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're gonna jack you up like those videos you see on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
People talking nonsense. Yeah. Okay. This is gonna be fun. We got to get on a call when this happens.
Oh no, God, please don't, because Street will do it.
Yeah. I'm gonna talk to Street in private, secretly, without your knowledge. I don't know why I'm telling you right now.
I know.
It's gonna happen, and you're gonna be on video, and we're gonna release that to the world, and it's gonna be hilarious. And we're gonna talk about all kinds of cool stuff.
I mean, it won't be cool by the time I finish my sentence.
Well, it won't be for you, but it will be for everyone else.
I'll probably be declaring my love to a cat or something on the internet.
Yeah. Well, it's good to hear your voice, Carly. I'm glad we're doing another episode here. I think we've got a surprise for everybody that's still tuning in. We're going to release a series of episodes here for the end of the year. Give you guys something to listen to as we go into Christmas and into the new year. So stay on the lookout for 3 brand new episodes of the Speakeasy Noircast. And then heading into next year, we're going to change the format a little bit. And we're going to turn this into a weekly show. Where we're going to have an episode every week. So there'll be plenty of content coming out in this next year, opposed to our spotty release schedule that happened, over the 2021 season as we sort of got our bearings through hopefully the last half of this COVID crap. So hopefully there's going to be a lot more stuff coming your way of us talking nonsense of film noir.
Lucky people.
All of the film noir aficionados hate us. We will continue to not disappoint them.
Yes. We'll keep that dartboard in action.
Right? We should make dartboards with your face on it.
We'll do that when I have my tooth out. It can be like my semi-coma face.
All right, so let's get into tonight's drink, which is an interesting one. This drink is called Love and Murder, and I feel like this drink probably could go for any movie that we do because, it's film noir. It's always revolved around love and murder, right? What makes this one interesting, though, is that it has 2 main ingredients that normally don't show up together. And the ingredients for this drink is 1 ounce of Campari, 1 ounce of green chartreuse. And I did look that up to figure out how to pronounce it because when I look at that word, I just can't do it. It's chartreuse.
What even is it?
It's just it's just an alcohol. It's green. They're both very strong though. Tasting. They both have a very strong sort of taste to them. So if you put them in a drink together, they generally compete and it just doesn't work right. But this one is just those 2. So 1 ounce of Campari, 1 ounce of green chartreuse, and 1 ounce of lime juice, 3/4 ounce of simple syrup, and 4 drops of saline solution. And this is a little trick that I've just learned. Yeah. So just basically saline is just salt and water, right? So you make your own saline, which is 5-to-1 water to salt. And apparently we'll get to that. Anyway, steps to create the drink is just add all the ingredients into a shaker. You shake it with ice until it's, the ice sounds different. And then you pour it into a strain. You pour it into a strain. You strain it into a chilled coupe glass, which I have no idea what a coupe glass is. So I looked it up, and it's sort of looks like a mini sort of champagne glass.
Like a sherry glass or something like that.
Yeah, but not like quite as small as a sherry glass. But similar. It's more of like it's rounded like a champagne glass, but like maybe more on the size of like a martini glass, maybe a little smaller than that even. But not as small as like a sherry glass, because those are like tiny. Those are like little baby glasses, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Which we see a lot of that on Downton Abbey. I was like, I know what they're drinking.
Is that what your life's become after COVID? Guessing what they're drinking on Downton Abbey.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, exactly. So, red Campari. Maybe I'm not even pronouncing that one right. Campari.
Somebody will tell us. Don't worry.
I'm sure they will. We're a street. Red Campari and green Chartreuse are often not found together in the same glass. Right? So especially not as it's such a high volume. Like you wouldn't have a full ounce of either one of these in a glass. It's usually either just for color or for an added taste to it. But being as there's a shot of each of these in here, it makes it the flavors work together differently than it would in any other drink that they might show up in. So it's a very unusual blend that ends up working pretty well together, and not something that's you generally would see on any drink. And the drink itself comes from a play called The Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder, and whoever invented this drink, I can't remember the person's name, but that's where they derived it from. But the reason why I picked this drink tonight is not only because the movie that we're going to look at deals with love and murder, surprise, surprise, but it's also a Christmas movie, or at least has a Christmas theme to it. And because this drink is using red Campari. I'm going to say it different every time I say the fucking word. Red Campari and green Chartreuse. Right? It's a red and green drink, which ends up being mostly red when it's mixed. It plays into our Christmassy theme for tonight. Did I really just say themey theme?
You did, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm going to make an advert out of that. Themey theme.
All right. So
must be all the compadre.
Yeah. Must be. All right, people at home listening to this nonsense, go shake your shakers till the ice sounds different and pour them into your coupe de glace, and drink along with us as we take a look at the trailer for tonight's movie. The screen talked. 1947, the camera acts. A revolutionary innovation in film technique. MGM presents a startling and daring new method of storytelling. A milestone in movie making. Mysteriously starring Robert Montgomery and you.
My name is Marlowe, Philip Marlowe. Occupation, private detective. You know, somebody says, follow that guy. So I follow him. Somebody says, find that female. So I find her. But some cases, like this one, kind of creep up on you on their hands and knees. And the first thing you know, you're in it up to your neck. Right now, you're reading in your newspapers and hearing over your radios about a murder. They call it The Case of the Lady in the Lake. It's a good title. It fits. What you've read and what you've heard is one thing. The real thing is something else. There's only one guy who knows that. I know it. This lady in the lake business started just 3 days before Christmas.
Who invited you?
I did.
Now, wait a minute, Mr. Marlowe.
Just when I was beginning to like you.
Well, you want the facts, don't you?
When it concerns a woman, does anybody ever really want the facts? Vain female, aren't you?
Please don't be so difficult to get along with. I need help.
What's going on here?
He got cute.
Striking an officer, resisting arrest, and murder, all on Christmas Eve. Let's wrap you up real pretty, shall we? And take you right down to headquarters. Give me your hands.
You'll see it just as I saw it. You'll meet the people, you'll find the clues, and maybe you'll solve it quick, and maybe you won't. You think you will, eh? Okay? You're smart. But let me give you a tip. You've got to watch them. You've got to watch them all the time. Because things happen when you least expect them.
No, don't! I love you, remember?
Lady in the Lake. The most thrilling of all mysteries. And you play the starring role with Robert Montgomery, Audrey Totter,
Drexel. 33391.
Lloyd Nolan, Tom Tully, Leon Ames, Jane Meadows, Lady in the Lake, a Metro Goldwyn Mayer thrill. All right, there you have it. That was the trailer for Lady in the Lake, which I think amongst film noir fans is a fairly, what would you say, conflicted, I don't know, what's the right word? Some people like it, some people don't. What do you, polarizing?
Oh, it's like Marmite.
I don't know what that is. Is that like chocolate or something?
It's this weird thing in a tub. Basically, you absolutely love it or you absolutely detest it with a passion.
Okay. That's kind of like out here in Nutella, right?
Everybody in the
like
UK loves Nutella.
Yeah, I don't. I think it's the weirdest shit in the world. It's like fake chocolate or something.
Yeah, it's very strange.
I don't like it. It was like a weird craze here for a while. It's kind of settled down. But yeah, it's very like people's I would say respect for this movie is very polarizing. Some people hate it, some people like it. But I don't know. I personally really love this movie. I think it's fun. I think it was interesting, and I think I like it more. What was the other film that does the POV? Was this not Suddenly? The
Humphrey Bogart one. Is it Dark Passage?
Yeah, Dark Passage. Okay, yeah. Which there is a bit of a an argument about is which film came first, which we can talk about later. But before we get into all that, we're gonna have Carly go into her in a nutshell synopsis for Lady in the Lake.
Okay, I haven't got my glasses on, by the way, so if this doesn't make sense, that's why.
Because you can't read?
Yeah, because I just can't. I'm just making up words. It's just, it's hit and miss.
And now it's time for Carly's super famous in a nutshell synopsis.
A hard-boiled private detective tries his hand at a new career and still winds up being roped into a new case as we share the investigation from the viewpoint of the crankiest and potentially most boring Philip Marlowe ever to be hidden from the screen. Bib you.
Everybody at home is booing. Everybody at home's booing as well.
Oh,
boring.
God.
Boring. Hidden from the screen. That was pretty creative. Yeah. But boring. Come on.
I mean, it was. Once the lady with her eyebrow disappeared, I waned. And then she came back with her eyebrow, so she's the only thing that kept me entertained.
Oh, you didn't like it? Makes me sad.
No, I found it I just thought it moved so slow. That was my issue. I actually really like the POV, which seems to be what people don't like. I actually thought that was really good and really creative and a really different way of doing it. It's just that it just made it move so slow.
Yes, and I agree with that. And, I think, and for those at home, obviously, you've either seen this movie or you haven't. What's his name? Montgomery decided to try to do something creative with this film, which he heard about when they were trying to develop Dark Passage.
Yeah.
And before Dark Passage got off the ground, I believe, he decided to sort of steal that idea and use it for this film. And this was the last film that he was doing for MGM under contract, right? So he was doing this sort of creative thing, wanted to go out with a bang. I think this was his first directed film.
I think so, yeah.
I think he had previously sort of stepped in for, I want to say Houston or Ford or somebody previously. He had obviously written some screenplays, like he co-wrote Sunset Boulevard, things like that. I think Blue Dahlia. I think that they put a lot of trust in him as to where the studio was fighting the POV sort of aspect. They eventually caved and, let it happen. And I guess they eventually caved on Dark Passage as well, because that happened too.
Yeah.
But I think initially Dark Passage was the first film to be developed to do it. But I think this movie was made first. If I'm not incorrect.
So this was 1946, wasn't it? 1946. And Dark Passage, 1947.
Oh, no. Lady in Lake is 47.
Oh.
Yeah, well, it was released January 23rd, 47. When was Dark Passage released?
47, I think.
But when? I'll look it up. I'll waste.
We need a dramatic pause because I'm Googling.
Just do an elevator sound music.
I'm done.
Oh, keep going because I'm not doing it.
I mean, I think the listeners are, so. Oh, September 27th.
September 27th. Oh, two different. Okay, so it was released initially in New York City, September 5th, 1947. And then the rest of the United States, I guess, in a wider release, September 27th, 1947. So almost like 8 months or so apart. 9 months. So Lady in the Lake ended up being released first. Who knows when it was shot and, how that all happened. But anyway, 2 POV movies in the same year. And I'm guessing Dark Passage was the more successful one because they didn't do it through the entire film.
Yes.
Also,
I was just going to say that.
Yeah. Also, they used it in a different sort of gimmicky way with his face being covered and all that kind of stuff. So it was a little, I think that their gimmick worked better for.
I think they had a reason, didn't they? They had a reason to shoot it that way. And then they switched when that reason couldn't carry on.
Right. It made sense to switch to to normal style. But with the Lady in the Lake, so I'm a huge fan of FMV video games. And if you don't know what that is, it's a full motion video game. And those started becoming prominent in the 90s. And I don't know, maybe it's because I'm a filmmaker, maybe I just love movies. I don't know why, but I really took to them and I love them. I think they're super interesting. And they're all pretty much POV perspective, taking place in real live video, environments or cutscenes that are all fully film, related. And I think that's really maybe the reason why I really love Lady in the Lake is because it really feels like one of those FMV video games. And I think that they did it very well in that respect. You know, they made a lot of creative behind the scenes sort of techniques in order to make it happen. Like I read about the DP creating a camera dolly that moves in such a way that it makes it look like you're walking, you know, that sort of like left, right, up, down thing. And it would also climb stairs, and it had like a seat for Montgomery to sit in.
God, it's like a Dalek, isn't it? That camera.
It's crazy. Like they did some really innovative things in like how they would swing the camera around past mirrors and you didn't see the camera, or, you know, there's just a lot of creative things that they did in there, but it's more of like a technical respect than I guess it is for the audience to really give a shit about. And I think that's probably why it sort of fails in that way. But for me, it was really cool and I really enjoyed it. As far as the POV goes, I think the thing that also FMV games suffer from is when Marlowe is talking to another character, they sort of stand there with the deer in the headlights kind of look.
Yes.
Like it suffers from having coverage of a scene.
Yeah.
Like there's no cutaways. There's no, well, that's not true. There's some, but you can't get like a master shot and close ups and things like that, because it's all from the perspective of this lead character. So you're sitting there staring at like a character almost, I would argue, emotionless at times.
Yeah.
You know, the secondary characters for a lot of the periods of times really don't play well.
Well, it must have been incredibly hard to just talk at a camera. If like this being the first time it was ever done, can you imagine just being shoved in that position and kind of like be emotive to a camera? I mean,
I guess it's the equivalent of like Marvel movies now where everybody's playing against a green screen and there's no things there, you know? That's the only thing I can really relate it to. But I would think that, you know, experienced actors would be able to figure it out, or they would rehearse it, or, you know, there'd be ways to sort of like realize that this needs to be adjusted, kind of thing. And now that's my one big pet peeve with it. And I think that's probably a directorial downfall than anything. And this being like his first big movie directing, I give him a little slack for that, because that just would come with experience, you know. And even in the editing room, you'd have to kind of like understand, like, okay, that's not exactly working. Maybe we should reshoot that.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen with everybody. Like there's some actresses, like, you know, the main lead actress, Audrey Totter. She was great. Like she's very expression filled, you know, while Marlowe's talking and things like that. Like she's got the expressions, but
yeah, she's actually reacting to what he's saying, whereas the others just kind of stand there. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so some of those actors, like, really, like, it didn't do them a good service, like to be in this particular film. But again, maybe that's sort of like that thing that I really like about it, because that's a huge issue with FMV games, is like when you're investigating, because most of them are detective, like investigative type games. When you're going to talk to somebody to find clues, they're sort of like just sitting there staring at you. And it reminds me so much of this movie, or vice versa, that it's just, I don't know, maybe it's just a weird, I don't know, something I'm used to, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, I just feel like I could have done with a little bit more of, you know, just glancing around the room, or just even it going down to your hands to like roll a cigarette or something, or just something, so it wasn't just so stationary all the time.
Yeah, and I mean, I can see that.
Like a natural person's kind of like looking around, like you would kind of, your eyes would be drawn to kind of clues and things in the room.
Sure, yeah. And I think there's some of that, but I think you're right. There could have been more. And I think some of that has to do with the technical aspects of making that work, right? You know what I mean? Because the camera, it can't, those cameras back,
can't just swing,
aren't small.
Yeah.
So you're not attaching it to, like, you know, his head or something to where you can look down and it'll look right. It's like you have to really think out those sort of scenes. So it's in there a few times, but not a lot. And I think you're right. If they had focused on trying to build those scenes with those sort of, you know, actions a little more detailed, that it probably would have kept it a little more interesting than just, the deer in a headlight sort of supporting casts, lack of reactions and, whatnot. But, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I have that sort of affinity for that style, because of the games I used to play or still do play, because they're sort of having a resurgent recently with all the indie games. There's a lot of games coming out that are FMV. And I think you would actually like them, Carly, because most of them are all like sort of like private eye detective noirish, sort of feel.
Well, I quite like watching Street play on his PlayStation when he plays those types of games. When there's a little story and it clicks into story mode. Did you ever have the X-Files game? The 4-disc one that went across the PlayStation?
I did, yeah. That was, I didn't have it on PlayStation, I have it on the computer, but that's a full motion video game.
Yeah, because that's very much you have the characters staring at you.
Yeah, and what's funny is I feel like the actor that played the person in that game ended up being in an episode of Millennium, which I thought was kind of cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Anyway, so I feel like I've totally forgot to explain this movie to people and what it is. So
maybe
we're talking about Lady in the Lake, which is a 1947 American film noir that marked the directorial debut of Robert Montgomery, who also stars in the film. Sort of.
In a mirror.
Right. Occasionally, sometimes. Or the weird cutaway in his office scenes. Right?
Lincoln, you'll miss him.
Right. The picture also features Audrey Totter, Lloyd Nolan, Tom Tully, Leon Ames, and Jane Meadows. The murder mystery was an adaptation of the 1943 Raymond Chandler novel, The Lady in the Lake. The film was Montgomery's last for Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, which is MGM, after 18 years with the studio, which is a long haul. That's a long stretch to be under contract. And, Montgomery's ambition was to create a cinematic version of the first-person narrative style of Chandler's Philip Marlowe novels, with the exception of a couple of times when Montgomery, in character, addresses the audience directly. The entire film is shot from the viewpoint of the central character. The audience sees only what he does, which is, again, an interesting take. When you see it on paper, it's like, oh, this sounds really cool. But I can also see how people might not like it or get bored by it, as Carly did, because she sucks. MGM promoted the film with the claim that it was, I can't believe you just let that slide.
I'm biding my time.
You totally let that slide there. But
I'm biding my time. I heard.
I'm so mean. All right. MGM promoted the film with the claim that it was the first of its kind and the most revolutionary style of the film. Most revolutionary style of film since the introduction of the talkies. That's a big claim.
That is a big claim.
Because, the movie was also unusual for having virtually no instrumental soundtrack, which is very noticeable. There's only like maybe one or two pieces.
Yeah, that doesn't help though, does it? With like the no movement and people staring at you.
That's true. It doesn't. I respected it though. I thought that was pretty cool that they did that, because it does kind of make you, maybe for the time, maybe not so much now, but I felt like I was more interested in looking at whatever I could possibly see, because I wasn't distracted by music. But again, I could see how that makes it semi-boring for people, especially in today's ultra
hyped up. Yeah. Everything's going on.
Film world. Yeah. So the music in the film being instead provided by a wordless vocal track of chorus, which adds to the sort of Christmassy feel. In my opinion, anyways, this love and murder drink is getting in my throat here. I'm going to start talking like Morgan Freeman or something in a minute.
Oh my God, that'll get us viewers. Crack on. Drink some more.
Anybody else having their throat burned by this drink? Nah, maybe it's just me. All right. The film did not use Raymond Chandler's own 195-page screenplay. So when Montgomery originally wanted to make this film, he approached Chandler to write the screenplay for it. And interestingly enough, this screenplay, I guess, became somewhat infamous for being very bad. And maybe it's out there to get a hold of. I really want to be able to get a hold of it. My apologies. I'm entering the Twilight Zone.
It's so cool.
interesting enough, like I said, it was known for being a really bad script. So Montgomery decided to hire somebody else to make the film that he had worked on previously, I guess, at a magazine, I believe, or something like that. Steve Fisher was the writer that he hired, and that ended up being a 125-page version. Now, in Steve Fisher's version of this script, he did a lot of different sort of things from the book, mainly took out all of the scenes that took place at the lake, which I found to be pretty weird and crazy. Like, that was the one thing about, being called Lady in the Lake, and you never see this body of water. You never see the crime scenes.
That's what I was struggling with a little bit. And because I thought I'd lost interest, I was like, did I miss it?
Right.
I haven't seen a lake.
Now, to make that kind of work or understand why that worked in my head, so Marlowe's never at the lake, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, those scenes would have been cut away to somebody else, the police or whoever, and this movie is solely from Marlowe's perspective. So I completely understood why they did that. But as a viewer, and I think being, used to seeing those scenes cut away from the main character sort of thing, I can see how people will miss that. And I'm honestly, I miss that as well. Like, I felt
and
like
perhaps Raymond Chandler as well.
Well, he definitely, he's very unhappy with this script. And he also insisted, even though he was very unhappy, insisted on having his name kept on the film until he saw the first cut of it.
Oh,
and then requested his name to be removed. Yeah.
How embarrassing.
Well, that's I guess pretty common. But yeah, so after this new version of the film was written, Montgomery finally got it, greenlit, and 2 years later, they shot the film. Originally, the book took place in midsummer instead of Christmas time, which is one of the other major changes, which I personally thought worked fairly well. I did not have a problem with the season change. And I think that made it a pretty cool Christmas film. It's not overly, shoved in your face. There's a little bit of a, Christmas music, and, I think the opening credits or ending credit, I can't really remember which it was, but then you have the chorus, that feels Christmassy. You have the opening credit sequence with the cards that are on Christmas cards, that kind of thing. There's not a whole lot. The Christmas party in the middle of the movie, there's things like that. There's not a whole lot like in your face, like this is a Christmas movie, but the way that they did it with their subtlety, like, I think worked pretty well, and probably got people in the theater as it was released right after Christmas. So I thought that was a pretty good, gimmick per se. There is, I think, to me, like, knowing that, Montgomery's involvement with like Sunset Boulevard, that kind of thing, and Gloria Swanson in Sunset Boulevard, who's amazing. I think that Audrey Totter was cast because she has a sort of likeness to Gloria Swanson in that film. Like she has these looks on her face that are just kind of like, what are you talking about?
And an amazing eyebrow.
Yes.
She has the best eyebrow in the world.
Yeah. So there's, she's been in a few other things of note, but I think this is probably my favorite that she's in, and she really does remind me of Gloria Swanson in Sunset Boulevard for those extreme facial expressions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is the movie that we're talking about. That was super long-winded. My apologies. And even though we already got into the movie, you guys were treated to an explanation of what we were talking about, I guess.
You lucky dogs. Well, I could only tell you about Audrey's eyebrow, because, to be honest, she was the only thing I was watching it for. Because even though
half the movie.
Yeah, but even though I get people who go, oh, she's over the top, it's too much, I think she was exactly what was needed to overcompensate for not having a leading man there. Quite frankly.
Yes, I agree with you. Especially, I think it's less about not seeing the lead, more about the people that are playing, with her, the other supporting cast. It's like once you see her and then you see another supporting cast who doesn't even remotely come close to having any facial expressions, it really stands out and like helps those scenes move along much, much easier. So yeah, I think she was, that was a great casting decision. She worked pretty well in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did like some of the behind the scenes stuff though that he did, like sniggering.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I like those kind of bits because that made me snigger because he was sniggering. So I did kind of, it was slightly immersive at certain points and you did kind of find yourself sniggering along or, when the fist was thrown, you kind of like winced a little bit, but it was just not enough of that.
Are you saying snickering or sniggering?
Sniggering.
Sniggering. I don't think I've ever heard that word either. Snickering, I've heard like snicker. It's
well,
like
what's Snicker? That's a chocolate bar. A Snicker is a chocolate bar. What's snickering? That'd be like stealing Snickers.
It's the Snicker thief. That's funny.
Watch out, hide your Snickers.
Maybe that's
sniggering. Sniggering would be like
uneducated American education. Uneducated American education.
Do you not know what sniggering is like?
Well, yeah, I get what it is. I either I'm correct and you're incorrect, or it's a British versus American difference, or
probably
I just completely thought the word was a different word. Which, that's totally plausible. You guys know me. I can't pronunciate my own name.
Let's throw me a bit now.
Yeah, and I'm curious, like, I should know this. This is something that I should know, but I don't. And I don't know why I don't know this, but I wonder how much ADR was done back in the day, if any at all, or if it was all on set audio.
Oh, that's interesting.
And I really feel like I should know this. And I don't think it's ever really popped into my head before, except for with this movie. Because I'm wondering if all of Montgomery's dialogue was recorded on set or if that's all
added
ADR.
after.
And yeah, because I'm thinking like this contraption that they use for the dolly probably causes noise. There's probably set noise, other things like that. I'm just curious. Like somebody out there knows, let us know. We want to hear from you. I'm curious. Yes, I know Google exists. I can just look it up. Whatever. We want to hear from you. Come on.
But we don't want my dodgy hold music again when you have to Google.
That was amazing. And that's going to become a part of the show. I'm going to cut that out and I'm going to replace your bye-bye at the end with your
I mean, no.
Or maybe I'll just loop that and use that for the intro credit sequence. That or replace your in a nutshell.
I feel like you're just replacing all of me with just Yeah,
I'll just be like, so how did you like that? And that will be the show. Thanks for tuning in, folks. See you next time. Yeah, so okay.
That would explain how people were struggling to react, though, if he wasn't even speaking to them while he was just filming them.
Yeah, and I feel like as a director, he probably would have, if they did ADR all of that, if they did re-record it, he probably still said his lines on set to a certain extent. And if he didn't, like, yeah, it would be a huge explanation as to why they're sort of like staring at the camera. Like, I don't know what's being said to me right now, but I know my next line, and okay, go.
Yeah, angry face, eyebrow. Smile.
That might have been what's happening, behind the scenes. That might have been Montgomery, like, okay, eyebrow. Give me another eyebrow. Give me a frown. Okay.
Give me a bigger eyebrow. The biggest eyebrow you've ever done.
Yeah. Did you find the plot convoluted at all?
A little bit.
Little bit? Okay.
Yeah.
I did.
I feel like that's because I wasn't like seeing it though. Like again, because I'm used to just like cutting here, there, and everywhere, And because that wasn't happening, I was like having to overly focus on the face staring back at me, and then I was losing concentration. So then I was feeling like I was missing things.
So now you're admitting that you would be a terrible private eye.
I'd be crap, man.
Yeah, you would have to be, and that's sad to me. I thought you'd be great, but now I don't think so.
No.
I think you'd be terrible because everything in this movie is shown from his perspective, and if he's able to do it, shouldn't you be able to do it?
I think my problem is, as a private eye, I would literally be, when I was talking to them, if it wasn't an exciting case and no one had been murdered, I'd be like, oh, I'm bored now. This is one for Jason. I'm so bored. When's the bar open? And that's what my mind would be thinking while they were talking at me.
That's hilarious. We gotta make a movie about the world's most boring PI. It's gotta happen. All he does is take cases of missing puzzle pieces, like literal puzzle pieces.
Oh my God, yeah.
Wow. I'm disappointed now. I thought you'd be a good PI. I'm wrong. I'm so wrong.
No, I would either be like, if I got a case that I was interested in, I'd be obsessive. It'd be like 6 years later, I'd still be looking for like
case
the suspect.
Has been solved. It was solved like 3 days later, but she's still working on it, folks.
And I'm like, no, I don't buy that. I've got a sixth sense. It's this dude over here.
She will find the truth even though the truth has been found.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I'll be planting evidence left, right, and centre because I've got a hunch that this person that I don't like in the shop did it.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I feel like that a lot of people's complaint is that it was a little convoluted of a plot, and I didn't find that it was convoluted at all. I thought it was, if you're paying attention, you got to just pay attention to names, I guess, mainly.
Maybe that's the issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool. I enjoyed it. I thought it was, I still think maybe it would have helped to see those scenes at the lake. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not really sure. It's not something that can really be fixed at this point, but I didn't really find it terribly convoluted like Chinatown. Like Chinatown, I think is super convoluted and almost to the point where most of the movie doesn't necessarily matter. I love the movie, don't get me wrong, but like the actual story doesn't relate to the actual story, if that makes sense. As to where this one, it's just sort of like, you got to keep track, get out your little PI notebook and start writing names down. And then maybe you'll piece it together. But other than that, I thought that was, I personally didn't think it was convoluted, but
you were paying attention.
I was paying attention because I like it. Yeah, it's interesting. It's a good movie. And also, we never do see the wife, right?
No.
We never see Crystal Kingsby.
No.
She's not in the movie at all. I don't even think, do they show a picture of her even? I can't recall.
Do you know what? I don't think they did.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And I did learn that there is, Crystal Kingsby has a credit in the end credits, and it's supposedly she's played by L.A. Mort. Now, what I learned is this is an inside joke, as the character is never seen in the movie, and I don't even think in a picture or anything like that. But the name is a homonym of a French phrase, L.A. Este Morte, meaning she is dead.
Oh,
I thought that was kind of cool. I think it was a cool little
kind of cool. Yeah,
and it's like nobody's ever gonna, unless you either, are interested in looking that up. Nobody's ever really gonna realize that. But it's like 100 years later, not really 100 years, but that I'm sure everybody on the earth knows this except for me.
I mean, that could possibly be the coolest thing about the film.
Shut up. Shut your mouth. Stop your sniggering.
Sorry, I've got to go nick some Snickers. I'll be back.
I disagree with you, okay? I just want that to be said to the world. I disagree.
Okay.
You're like, yeah, so what? But I thought that was a cool little Easter egg. That's their equivalent of like a post-credit scene from a Marvel movie. So there you go. that took a little bit of creative juices to add that in there, and wonder if people see or not. I wonder who was the first person to realize that. Who knows?
Could be you.
Yeah, could be. I doubt it, since I found that on the internet.
Unless you put it there.
Right.
And it's actually a lie.
Yeah. Oh, one other thing I wanted to tell you about Audrey Totter. I really liked her in this movie. Eyebrows. Her last role, she lived to be 95 years old, which was really cool. Because I was looking, I was like, maybe we could hire her. No, we can't.
I mean, no.
She's no longer with us.
We don't have a Ouija board, so.
Right. But her last role was actually in Murder, She Wrote in 1987.
Oh.
Yeah, and it was actually a really good episode, too. I remember this one. She plays a nun. It was called Old Habits Die Hard. Get it? Habits, nuns. Ha, ha, ha. Anyway, nice. 1987 and Murder, She Wrote. So, yeah, there we go. That was her swan song. What's your favorite line from this movie? I got one.
What's yours?
No, you go first. Damn it. You don't have one. You didn't even think of it, did you?
No, I don't, because I was trying really hard to focus on eyebrows.
Damn you. Well, it's from an eyebrow scene.
Oh.
Yep.
If you don't raise your eyebrow when you say it, I'll be mad.
I always raise my eyebrows. He says Merry Christmas, and she goes, what? Raises an eyebrow. I said Merry Christmas, and I'm glad to have met you, and have a good cry. It was so funny because you're expecting him to say something mean to her, but he actually is falling for her, right? It's just like, she's like, get out of here. I hate you. And he's like, Merry Christmas. What? I said Merry Christmas, and I'm glad to have met you, and have a good cry.
Have a good cry.
I loved it. I thought it was great.
I can just imagine her eyebrow just stealing that moment.
Yeah. My first one was the line right before that where she says something like, do you fall in love with all the women you have cases with, or something like that? I can't remember exactly. He's like, and his reply is like, if they have a skirt or something like that. That one cracked me up too. So, but this one I thought was really good because it was like unexpected.
I'm really enjoying your film noir voice as well.
My portrayal. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm terrible. I'm terrible with that. But yeah, so that's my line. Carly doesn't have a line, even though she came up with that little game where she was going to find the best line in a movie. And this one, she just fell flat. I feel like she let down Montgomery. She let down the lady in the lake. She let me down. And folks at home, she let you down because...
I mean, when was the last time you came up with a line since I introduced coming up with a line?
That is not the point. Okay? That is just, you don't turn this around. That's just like a woman just turning it around and making it somebody else's problem. And
yes, yours.
I'm being completely misogynistic and sexist right now, but it's happening, and you came up with it, and you didn't even come up with a line. When was the last time? I don't think I ever have.
I mean, if you'd like, I can quote one off the Internet Movie Database, which I've just found that I quite like. No?
It doesn't have the same charm, but go ahead. You might as well.
Okay.
So you're not left alone here.
Okay. How'd you get back from the lake so soon? Philip Marlowe. Fast dog team.
Fast octane?
Fast dog team. Oh my God, you ruined the lines. This is why I don't do it.
I can't help it if I can't understand your British.
Fast
Sniggism?
dog team. Woof woof.
Fast dog team, like a sled team?
Yeah, I think so.
Like a sled, like that's not. That's the best you can do. Fast dog. I think I remember that. That's when. Where was that happening at?
I mean, you didn't even get it, so you've ruined it anyway.
I get it.
Yeah.
It's just not very good. Just like you're feeling about the movie, unfortunately. Yeah. That's okay.
How about another one? Philip Marlowe. I like your tan. That's very Christmassy.
That was pretty good. That was a good one. Yeah, that was fun. That dude was terrible too. He reminds me of the equivalent of Ben Affleck in movies. Like he's just sitting there with this stupid little grin on his face, just talking. He's like, "Hey, let me punch you."
Hey, you look shit. Fuck off.
That guy was terrible. I was kind of happy he got shot up, but whatever.
Yeah. Like Billy Bob Thornton in Bad Santa.
Yeah, but he was pretty good. I don't know. You don't like Bad Santa, huh?
I did, but I mean, Billy Bob Thornton as Bad Santa was pretty slicing.
Well, that makes sense. That makes sense, though, right?
Yeah.
Like he was, playing a drunk.
I think he's more aggressive than Ben Affleck in real life, though, if I'm honest.
Maybe. I don't know. I when I look at the show Goliath, have you watched that?
No.
He's pretty good in that. That's a pretty good show. I picture him being that guy. Like even that guy in The Man Who Wasn't There.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the name of that movie?
Yeah. Oh God,
that we both
yeah.
disliked, yeah. Like I picture that being him. Like that to me. That's sort of I feel like Goliath is that same guy, as in that movie. And I just kind of see Billy Bob Thornton as that, which also would make sense as to how he played Bad Santa as well.
Yeah.
But so I don't know. But I don't know how we got on Thornton. Blah. Anyway.
Sorry, I think I sidetracked us.
Yeah, that's your fault.
Yep.
We like blaming things on Carly.
Yep.
It's the Carly blame game. All
Standard.
right. So, yeah. Here we go. So we're going to rate this movie. What do? We do 10
gin bottles,
right? Gin bottles. Gin, yeah. Which, gin. Blah. Not my.
Calm down.
Although I was going to say read these noir novels, but I don't read them. I listen to them because I suck. They
I could have told you that.
Travis McGee. Have you heard of Travis McGee novels?
No.
They're really great. I love them. They're very noir. I can't tell what time period they take place, but they sort of feel like they take place in like the 50s or 60s. But also sometimes kind of feel like they might be kind of modern, but they're not. It's kind of strange. They don't really ever really say that I know. But his favorite drink is gin, and it's a particular brand called Boodles, which is the silliest fucking name in the world. But I never noticed that until we went to Thanksgiving dinner at my wife's dad's house, and a friend of his was over and brought out some bottles of gin, and Shawnee had tried a gin drink, and I was like, I'm a hard pass because I fucking hate the shit. Thanks a lot, Carly. It's your fault.
Welcome. Yep. Always a pleasure.
He starts talking about his favorite brand of gin or whatever is Boodles, and then the next day I'm listening to one of my Travis McGee books, and I never clicked with me before because I didn't know what the hell Boodles was, but that's the type of gin that he drinks in the books. So
oh my god, it's like it was meant to be.
I guess so. Yeah, it's like the universe was converging. That's what Evan O'Hare talks about a lot, is the universe sort of converging and things are happening as they're meant to be and everything's related. And
yes.
All this new agey nonsense, Evan.
I think you need to drink the gin, basically, is what he's saying, and I concur.
But that's not going to happen because it makes me want to vomit.
Yeah, but then the universe is going to be mad at you and bad things are going to happen, so don't do that.
Maybe that's why I'm not a famous, movie maker or have a lot of money, because I don't drink Boodles gin or something. I don't know.
I feel like it's just a small change in our situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if you start drinking gin...
Yeah,
if you start drinking gin, then, that could be the way forward.
Could be, or to alcoholism, one or the other.
Yeah, I mean, jump on my ship.
I'm pretty close. I'm just gonna say I'm pretty close to being there. I can get through. Like, I drink a lot of bourbon and Cokes, or in my case, it's sugar-free Coke, or something.
Yeah, I'm on the sugar-free train because of my tooth. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I can plow through like 5 or 6 of those and not even feel it. And when that happens, I'm like, okay, I need to like stop for a couple weeks. Because like I had a lot of these and like I don't feel nothing.
Yeah.
And then you stand up and you're like, whoa, shit, better sit back down.
do not go outside, because as soon as you go outside, you lose that fucking feeling.
Right.
It's the most embarrassing thing in the world, being like, yep, just had 6, no drama, go outside. Can't stand up, somebody help me.
Right.
Can't get back through the door. How did I get out here?
Yeah, it's like the only thing that it affects you is your equilibrium.
Yeah.
Everything else is like normal.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, okay. So we're at that time. We're gonna rate this movie, and I think Carly needs to go first so she can disappoint everybody further. Rate this movie. Tell us why and rate this movie.
I'm gonna give it a 5.
Yeah, it's made me spit my drink out.
I thought I heard a squeak of some kind.
I have to make sure that I do not drink anything when you're about to rate something. What?
Don't choke and blame me.
Have you been fired recently? You're fired. We need a new host.
I heard Troy's going to volunteer, so.
Daryl, are you free? Daryl?
No, don't skip to Daryl.
We're going to skip to Daryl.
I nominate my chair to Troy.
We have.
He
Troy.
will give everything a 2.
Yeah, exactly. He'll give everything a -2. Daryl, yep. There's a position open. If you're out there listening, there's a position open. Carly's been fired. It's over. Moving on. 2, 5. What'd you get? A 5? Oh my god.
5.
My gosh. Okay. Why?
Hey, I could have been meaner.
Yeah. Really?
Well, yeah, because
could
I
have
found
been meaner?
Yeah, I lost interest pretty early on.
Oh.
I stuck with it.
Mm-hmm.
But then I started Googling Bewitched, and I watched a little bit of that at the same time.
I'm just going to mute this, and hello, Samantha.
I was trying to look for facial recognition between the two.
Now,
the only reason I give it a 5 is because of the behind the scenes stuff, like you said, and the work that went into doing it. The actual finished project made me watch Bewitched.
You're watching Bewitched. That's not a good reason. Keep going. Tell us why.
No, it's because I obviously was researching it because I'd lost interest in the plot that much that I was researching it, and then obviously realised, oh, the lady from Bewitched is the daughter of the chap who's hidden and being monotone, and that's where that went.
She's Montgomery's daughter?
Yes.
Oh, I had no idea.
Oh yeah, she is. This is what I discovered instead of finding out who killed the lady in the lake.
Well, I mean, that's a good discovery, though. I mean, that sort of salvaged your nonsense.
Yeah.
That's.
Okay. It wasn't. I didn't just think, oh, ping Bewitched. There was a little bit of attraction there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So Robert Montgomery, his daughter is, what's her name? Elizabeth Montgomery?
Did you say Montgomery?
Montgomery. I can't say it. Okay.
Well, that's again. So maybe you got your snickering word wrong. Then I don't trust you any longer. There's
why did you never?
British trust here going on.
Why did you ever to begin with? I mean, you fool.
I don't know. We look at British people as being of a higher stature, I guess.
Oh, because you think we all know the Queen because of Downton Abbey books.
Right? Don't you?
No, dude, no. I've told you this many, many times. I tell everybody this.
All right.
Do you know what? I'm going to start saying yes.
I think when Carly's in the Downton Abbey, scenario, and really she's in the train spotting scenario. I guess I just got. Yeah. Okay.
You could not be more accurate. Who's this, my? Oh, this is my friend Gemma. Yeah, she's just got her head down a toilet. Never mind.
Oh, that creepy scene with the baby on the wall.
Oh no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, moving on. Okay. So Bewitched and Montgomery. Okay. Interesting. Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. So it was slow. Didn't like the plot. It was boring. Didn't get to see the lead. Okay. Oh,
yeah. I did appreciate everything that he tried to do though, and push boundaries and the whole behind the scenes. I feel like because he'd never done it before.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, unfortunately, I feel for me, just didn't have the pace to be in the slightest bit really interested, if I'm honest, which is a shame. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a shame that you can't be honest and tell us that you loved it. And also, I mean, who really cares about your opinion? I mean, they're not listening to this for your opinion.
I mean, exactly. They just want to buy the dartboard with my face on. FYI, if you make some of them, I know 5 people I work with that would snap your arm off for one of them bad boys.
It's the only reason why people tune in is to hear my opinion, not yours.
To hear you say things wrong.
Right. Shut up. Wait, what? Fired again. Fired twice in the same episode. I think that's happened before, actually. I don't know.
I feel like you could do this film. You could be behind a camera just yelling at people who don't move.
You're showing too much emotion. Stop it.
Tape your eyebrows up right now.
All right. Well, I'm going to give this movie an 8 because I just really I got a soft spot for it, I guess. Maybe it's shit. Aww. I don't know. But I really like it. I enjoy it. I think this movie is fun. I like almost every movie with Marlowe. Like not necessarily, Montgomery, but any, Philip Marlowe.
You're very fond of that character. Yeah.
I really am. Yeah, I really am. Even though they're all different. The one that I hate is that one that was made in the 70s. I can't stand that movie. I think it's awful. It doesn't a lot of people love it too, but I think it was remade with I can't even think of the guy's name right now, but you know who he is, and I think it was remade with anyways, can't think of his name either. I can't think of who originally did it.
Some dude did something that I didn't like.
I can't think of the name of the movie either. I think it's got 3 remakes. One of them might be Bogart. I can't remember. Anyway. The 70s one is the only one I really didn't care for. But other than that, I really like all the Marlowe stuff. And this one's no exception. I really liked it. I thought the Christmas themes were good. I thought, the technical craft that went into it, I thought was pretty cool. I do agree that the technicality of it did slow down the action in an non-needed way. I feel like it did hurt the film with the dolly. I mean, it was really cool that it looks like he's walking, but it looks like he's walking way too slow.
Yeah, a bit like Grand Theft Auto when you want to kind of get to the end.
Yeah, I don't know. I never played that, but yeah, it just felt too slow. Like that was the only thing. And then the people's deer in the headlights sort of thing, which again didn't necessarily bother me because I'm used to that kind of stuff with the FMV games. And I think anybody who's played those kind of knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, I think it's fun. I think it's cool. I thought the story was pretty fun, interesting. I like the interaction between the 2 leads, and it was just a fun movie. And I even didn't mind the tacked on scenes with Marlowe in his office explaining the story. Like that didn't really bother me either.
No, I didn't mind that either, to be fair. I didn't think it detracted from it in any way.
Yeah, no, and that wasn't originally planned. That was something I guess MGM wanted because they were worried about not seeing Montgomery. Like he's the star, everybody knows who he is, and you don't see him through the whole film, basically.
Yeah,
so
it was very risky. Can you imagine if in Dark Passage we'd have never seen Humphrey Bogart?
Yeah,
risky.
No, absolutely. So I get it, but I guess it's just me. I've got a soft spot for it, so whatever. Don't care. 8 gens. It's not a perfect movie, but it's highly rewatchable for me. So there you have it, guys. Tell us how much you hate this movie, because I know most of you are going to be on Carly's camp. That's okay. That's okay. We'll still accept you here at Speakeasy.
Well, I won't because I'm fired, but never mind.
Yeah, well,
I'll start a new one. I'll start a new one.
We never fire you for too long.
Because no one else wants to take the mantle.
Daryl, are you listening?
Hey.
Daryl?
Listen, Daryl's joining my new podcast. Speak Rubbish. Right. That's what it's called. Speak Rubbish.
Speak Rubbish about Jason? Yep. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
the anti-Jay podcast.
Yep. Pretty much.
Well, that's respectable. I get it. I understand that. All right, guys, there you have it. That's Lady in the Lake, and I personally hope you enjoyed it. Carly, I know, hopes you fell asleep, and we hope you enjoy your love and murder as we all do. And until next Well, like I say, until next episode, because like I said, we're going to do a little special episode dump for you guys where you're going to get 3 awesome episodes throughout the little holiday season here. We're going to release one on Christmas Eve, on Christmas Day, and then on New Year's Eve.
Is awesome a strong word?
Is what?
Is awesome too strong of a word?
Also is a
awesome.
Olsen, like the Olsen twins.
Oh my God! What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with me?
Awesome.
Also, what?
Awesome. You said awesome. Is awesome a little bit too strong of a word for our podcast episodes?
Is also what? Too strong
awesome. AWESOME. Awesome.
Awesome. You
yes. Oh my God. You have a problem with hearing.
Awesome. Is awesome too strong of a word for our podcast?
Yeah.
Epic.
Yeah.
Might be too strong of a word.
Yeah. How about fair to middling?
Good might be too strong of a word.
Yeah. Some episodes, some content.
We're going to bring you some pretty okay episodes, as the kids these days say, leading up to the new year. So stick with us, and I hope you enjoy them. And maybe they'll be also, as Carly would say. And
I said awesome. You didn't hear.
Nobody heard. Everybody heard also.
Daryl heard.
Also is also a good word. Is also. That's all I heard.
Okay.
It made no sense.
Your accent is bad.
It's great.
It's bad. You are never going to be a Downton Abbey servant. Never. No.
Never. I'd quit that job so fast.
No, you wouldn't. You'd stick around for the drama. I know you.
Oh boy. All right. Yeah. So, it's our episodes will be awesome. And
they'll be there.
Stick with us and and listen along with our nonsense. And we will, this is the Christmas Eve's episode. So you're listening to it now. And then tomorrow we're going to release another one. And then, we already said Christmas Eve, didn't I? On New Year's Eve, we're going to release our final episode of the year. So stick around. We hope you guys enjoy it. All right. Talk soon. Until next time.
Bye-bye.
He's looking at you, kid.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Speakeasy Noircast. Make sure to visit our website, resurrectionfilms.net, where you can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Stitcher, or any of your favorite podcast apps so you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, if you found value in the show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes, or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out too. If you like the show, you might want to check out our book, The Dark Side of Acting Up, and The Dark Side of Acting Up Volume 2, now available on Amazon. Or you can check out one of our films, also available on Amazon Prime. Be sure to tune in next week.